The Divi 5 design system has a massive update. I'm super excited to talk about this because it solves a lot of our problems that we have when we use a design system that has variables and presets in Divi 5. So when you install KrafterPRO, this is the latest version, version 2. It comes in a form of a plugin, and once you install it, it has an entry over here on the left. Now, when you click on this tab, the import tab, it has these two areas where you can drag and drop your variables, and you can also drag and drop your presets. Now, you may be asking, well, what's so important about that? Because Divi has that by default. Well, there is a huge feature, and I'm sure a lot of you are going to be super excited about this. Now, in Divi 5, when you do the same thing, the exporting and importing of variables, you're going to notice that you get this issue where if you go over here, you can go in and export, and you can also import. The challenge is when you import, it overrides all your presets, and then you end up with duplicates. Now, it takes a long time to go in and start deleting them one by one. So this is what KrafterPRO resolves. And here we can override all the existing variables. So let's say you have a bunch of variables on your system and you just want to get rid of all of those and install new ones. You can use this option here. You can also use merge. Now this one here is really cool because it adds to what you already have. Again, which is fantastic. Now let's just go through these tabs and then I'll show you how this actually works. So over here, you have your export. Now this is where if you want to just download, all your variables, you can just download them all in one go and use this as a backup, okay, for all your sites that you're working on. Here we have the history and changelog. Now this is really cool because what you can do here is take a look at all your snapshots and you can do a rollback. So let's say something is wrong with your variables after you imported them and you want to go back to the previous version that worked for you. You can just hit a rollback and then it takes you back to that snapshot. And it also gives you more information here. So you can see it says KrafterPRO presets.json, and then it's telling you the mode was a merge. This one here was replace. So it gives you an idea of what this was about. Now, what's also very exciting is you also have the import changelog. Here you can see what was imported. So you can see it says plus 25. This is what was added. So when I take a look at this, you can see, okay, space L was added. Okay, MD, okay, heading 1, 2, 3, and it gives you the whole list of what was added. Okay, so that's another cool feature. Next, we have the reset. Now, this for me is one of the most important ones because it just gets rid of all your module presets. It gets rid of all your variables and colors in one go. So you click delete, it deletes everything. You click delete here, all your colors and variables all go. Just in case you want to start, from scratch. So you have this option. We also have our links here. Now this is also pretty cool. Within the actual plugin, you can click here on Divi community. It takes you to the Divi community. If you want the mastery course, you can click here. If you want support, rather than going into a new tab, typing, Divi University and trying to go on to the support page, you can just go from the actual plugin. And then here as well, you have the user guide. Now, I'll be launching this tomorrow because I need to add one more tag here, which has the video on how to get started. Now, let's take a look and see how this actually works. So over here, if I come on imports, how you're going to be updating KrafterPRO is by adding your two files. So the first file here, as an example, is going to be our KrafterPRO presets. So I'm going to come over here, drop my presets in here like that. And then you're going to notice that my button here has become active. So if I click on preview variables, now I'm going to replace, by the way, I can do that. And now it's reading the file and it's telling me here that, okay, there isn't much because it compared, because right now I already have a file that has all my presets. So if I come over here, you can see I have all my presets already. So it is not really adding anything in here. So I'm going to say confirm and import, and now everything has been imported, and now you can see it says import successful. Then I can close out of here. Okay, so let's do the variables. So again, I'm going to drag and drop my variables here like that. And by the way, you can click on browse and then you can search for the file wherever it is on your computer. So this time I'm going to say preview variables again, and now it's telling me what's going to be added. So as you can see here, it says added 59 variables, and these are the variables. Okay, so if I scroll through down here, these are all the variables that are going to be added. And then here it also tells me that the primary color is going to be changed from this onto this one here. The secondary color is also going to change from this to that, and so on. Here it tells me how many were removed. So you can see here that this is the list of all of them that were removed. And then here we have our global colors, and it tells you what was added as well. So if I scroll further down here, it tells me that it's removed 8 colors. And then now it's showing me all the colors that are going to be in my design system. And these are all the shades, the secondary shades, the grayscale, semantic colors, and so on. And then over here, it's telling me exactly what is going to be added in terms of all the variables. So this is the space, the text small, and so on. And then when I scroll all the way down here, I can go in and confirm and import. Okay, so now it's telling me my import was successful. I can close out of here. And now I can go in and start working on my site. So all I need to do now on this site, in fact, let me just save quickly first. I can refresh, and then all the variables will be added. But right now I know you're probably saying, but Mac, how do we know that the variables are added? You know, it's going to be a bit tricky to know. Well, yes. But I have a trick here. So what I'm going to do, because obviously right now I can go in and say, okay, I want that heading to be set to, let's say, heading 1, or I can set it to display small, and you can see everything is working. If I come over here, I can go in and say, okay, I want this small, and I can change my button as well, and so on. Okay, so all my variables are there and all my presets are working fine. So what I want to do next here is to do a reset, get rid of everything. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to say delete all module presets. Boom. I'm going to say okay. And there we go. So presets complete. I'm going to close that. I'm also going to delete all the variables and colors. I'm going to say okay. And I think these are deleted now. All variables and colors deleted. Fantastic. Now, if I come back to my site, you're going to see that this is going to change. So I'm going to refresh and reload. Okay. So now you can see that this does not have anything on there. So if I come over here to my heading and I take a quick look, you can see there's no variables or presets. All set. You can see there again, I can come in and there's nothing. So even if I want to check, let's say the padding, there's nothing. Okay. So now let's install our variables and our presets one more time. And again, you can see this has been updated. It has nothing on there. So now let's go ahead and import these. So I am going to start with my KrafterPRO presets here. Drag and drop it here. And then I'm going to say preview variables. So there we go. So 90 added. And this is the primary color, secondary color, link, background. So all these are the variables added. Okay. And if I want to scroll through all these, I can go through and see exactly what was added. Okay. And then I'm just going to say confirm and import and then close out of here. Now, of course, I'm going to need the variables and I'll show you why we need the variables. I'm going to refresh. And now, if I try to use this without the variables, this is not going to work. So let's say I select this. So you can see all my presets are in there, which is brilliant. Now let's go ahead and add our variables. So I'm going to come over here, drag my file onto here, and then I'm going to do preview. And these are the variables that are going to be imported. As you can see, I'm going to go ahead and confirm and import. Excellent. So now that everything has been imported, I can go in now and start styling my site. So this is where things get really exciting. I'm just going to save this and refresh so that I can just quickly customize this design. So if I refresh, this is going to quickly update. Right. So now I can go in and say, now, did you notice that it remembered how I'd set things up? Because this is using auto grid. So if I go in here, elements, column, you can see the auto grid has been set. Now by default, it would look like that. But if you set auto grid, it means that everything can be set. If I come over here to my section settings, I can add my background colors. So I'm going to go in and say background light. And I'm also going to add my padding. And this is going to be section large. And then this one here can be extra large. Okay. So it is very, very easy to use. If I go in, click on this plus button, I can add a group. If I want to have my button side by side, I can just add my button like that, duplicate it, and then go in here, design, layout, and then I can just go in and say gap small, and then just change my direction to that. Now I don't need this button, so I can get rid of it. Okay, so as you can see here, everything is working fine. If I go into my row settings, go into my content, I can remove all the normal padding. So in my column here, I can set this to design and set this to gap 0. Okay, now I can go in and specify using my spacing scale. So for example, I'm going to start with the group here and then come over here to spacing. And then I'm going to choose margin top large. So you can see it's been updated there. And then here, I'm also going to go in and say margin top medium. There we go. So now my spacing is all correct and everything looks really, really cool. So this is the power of using our design system. Now, there's also another way that this design system is going to help us, and that is if we want to use these designs on the pre-made layouts. All right, so how does this work? Well, what you can do is you can go in, choose a pre-made layout, and let's say the layout we're going to go with is this one right here. I want to select it and I am going to go with, okay, let's go with this one. I want to say, okay, let's select the about. It's much easier. Use this layout. Now you're going to notice that it says import presets. I'm going to say import, but if you want to use a design system now, which is KrafterPRO, which has all the variables and everything all in place, you may not want to use what we have here because this was not put together, correctly. So if I go into this text, for example, and check the size, you're going to notice that everything is set in pixels, which is not correct. So ideally, we do not want to use this. So what we can do is to first of all save this. So we're going to pretend, okay, we are going to use this as our main layout, as you can see. So what you need to do now is to get rid of all the presets. Now, if you're going to do this without KrafterPRO, it means you have to go in, right click, and then you want to reset all attributes, like that. But sometimes everything disappears, and sometimes you're not sure what is really going on. So let's bring it back here. I'm going to hit save. Okay. So with this saved, what I'm going to do now is to come over here and I am going to go to reset and I'm going to get rid of all the presets. Okay, excellent. And then I'm going to get rid of all the variables. Excellent. So now I've gotten rid of everything and I can see on the top here that there's nothing left. And if I do come here and let's first of all save and refresh this like that, everything should disappear. And sure enough, now my design is plain. It has no variables. It has pretty much the defaults. Okay. So now this is where we get to add our design system. So I'm going to come over here and then I'm going to drag and drop my presets over here like that. I'm going to do a quick preview. Okay, so these are the variables. Just going to scroll all the way down and then say import. Now I need to add my variables. So I'm going to do the same thing, drag and drop, preview. Okay, so these are the colors by default. I'm going to hit import and then close. Right, so now if I come back over here and I refresh, guess what's going to happen now? I am going to have all the presets set up for me, and it's going to be very, very easy for me to go in and start designing. So first of all, we're going to start off with this text right here. So I'm going to select it and over here, I'm going to set this as a label. In fact, you know what? Let's set this up as an eyebrow. There we go. And then here I can set my text. Now notice that this was set to heading 1 over here, which is not supposed to be the case because this is a text module. So what I'm going to do is just copy this like that. And then I'm going to add a proper heading. Then you're going to go in and paste the text. Okay. So now it has a proper text and we want this set to heading 1. Oops. Next, we're going to come over here onto the design tab and we need to center this heading text by coming over here like that. And then if you go further down, this needs to be our base text. So I'm going to come over here, set this to base. This here can be our base. And then over here, we can make it bold. So I'm going to come over here, set this to bold. So as you can see, this is going to make the designing of websites much easier. Hopefully you're going to like this. Tomorrow I am going to be releasing the final version. So there's a few tweaks I need to do and also a few tests that I need to do. And very soon it's going to be available to pretty much to everyone that purchased KrafterPRO. You're going to get this update absolutely free. And for those of you that haven't purchased KrafterPRO, you can go ahead and purchase it while the lifetime membership is still available. So go ahead. The links to all of that will be in the video description below. And also, if you're not part of the Divi 5 community, head over to Divi University. It's absolutely free to join. The link to that will be in the video description below. Until next time, thanks for watching and I'll see you again in the next one. Take care.